If you handed me $15,000 right now and told me to buy one SUV that my son could still be driving when he turns 16, I would not need a test drive, a Carfax report, or even a cup of coffee to think about it. I would be on the phone before you finish the sentence. Because after 22 years under the hood, I have figured out something most car buyers never will. The difference between a luxury SUV that dies at 150,000 miles and one that rolls past 300,000 miles is not the badge on the hood. It is the engineering buried underneath it. And today I am telling you about 3 luxury SUVs hiding in plain sight on used car lots right now that were built so overbuilt, so ridiculously over-engineered, they will still be running when your kids are old enough to fight you for the keys. Let's get into it. Number 3, Acura MDX, second generation, from 2007 to 2013. Number 3 is the SUV that forced me to stop trusting Consumer Reports charts and start trusting my own lift. On paper, this thing is just an expensive Honda Pilot. In my shop, it is one of the 3 vehicles I trust most to hand somebody and say this will still be running in 15 years. I had a customer 2 summers ago, a contractor in his early 50s, walk into my bay holding a printout for a 2019 BMW X3. He was about to finance for $34,000. He asked me to talk him out of it or into it. I flipped the paper over and wrote down one sentence. Buy a used Acura MDX and put the $20,000 you save into your kid's college fund. He looked at me like I'd insulted his mother. 2 weeks later, he rolled into my lot with a 2012 MDX tech package, 118,000 miles, $11,400 out the door. He just came in for an oil change last month. 164,000 miles. 1 repair in 3 years. A single rear sway bar bushing. $48. Here's why the second generation MDX is the unsung hero of the luxury SUV market. Under the hood is the 3.7-liter J37 V6, a durable engine. This engine shares its architecture with the one Honda puts in the Acura TL, the Pilot, the Ridgeline, and a half dozen other vehicles that routinely cross 250,000 miles. It makes 300 horsepower with no turbocharger, no supercharger, and no direct injection carbon buildup issues. It is port injected, which means the intake valves stay clean naturally. That is one of those boring details that costs you nothing at 150,000 miles, but costs BMW owners $2,000 for a walnut blasting service. The transmission is a 6-speed automatic starting in 2010 that Honda developed in-house. It is not a continuously variable transmission. It is not a dual-clutch gambling experiment. It is a traditional torque converter automatic that shifts smoothly and survives abuse. And the super-handling all-wheel drive system, that is the party trick. It actively shifts torque between the rear wheels to help the SUV corner flat. I have driven these in snowstorms that had lifted trucks spinning helplessly. The MDX just goes. Now, one honest warning. The J37 is a timing belt engine, not a timing chain. That belt needs to be replaced around 105,000 miles, along with the water pump. Budget $900 to $1,100 at an independent shop. Skip this service and you will destroy the engine. Do it on time and you will probably never touch the top end again. This is the single most common reason these SUVs die early. The owner did not do the timing belt. That is it. That is the whole story. Current market prices on a 2012 MDX with under 110,000 miles are sitting around $9,500 to $13,000, depending on trim. Compare that to the same year Audi Q7, which is priced at $14,000 to $17,000, and the Audi will be in my shop 3 times before the Acura visits once. I can quote you that from personal experience because I have Audi customers who finance my vacations. Inspection checklist. First, pull the service records and confirm the timing belt was done. If there is no paperwork and the vehicle has over 105,000 miles, assume it was not and negotiate $1,200 off the price. Second, drive it hard from a stop and then brake firmly. The torque converter on some 2007 to 2009 models can develop a shudder. If you feel a vibration between 30 and 45 miles per hour, walk away. Third, check the climate control display. There is a known ribbon cable issue where pixels start dropping out. Annoying, not dangerous, but a $300 repair. And fourth, inspect the power tailgate hydraulics. They start leaking around 120,000 miles. Cheap to fix, but it tells you about the owner's habits. This is a luxury SUV that was quietly engineered to be boring for decades. That is exactly what you want in a vehicle you are handing down. But if you think the MDX is overlooked, the next one on this list is the SUV that convinced me luxury badges are mostly a tax on ignorance. Number 2, Lexus RX 350, 2007 to 2013. That is the SUV I recommend to every single mother, every retiring couple, and every customer under 30 who tells me they want something reliable, comfortable, and cheap to own for the next decade and a half. It is also the SUV that has made me look the smartest to the most people in my entire career. A few years back, a customer came in with her 2010 RX 350 complaining about a rattling noise. 241,000 miles. Original owner. I put it on the lift expecting to find something catastrophic. You know what I found? A loose heat shield bolt. 3-minute repair. No charge. She asked me when she should start thinking about replacing the SUV. I looked at her and said, when you are tired of it, not when it is tired of you. She is still driving it. Last I checked, she was approaching 280,000 miles on the original engine and transmission. Here's why the RX 350 is, in my professional opinion, the single most cost-effective luxury sport utility vehicle ever sold in North America. Under the hood sits the 2 GRFE 3.5-liter V6 engine. The same engine family Toyota puts in the Highlander, the Camry Vive 6, the Sienna minivan, and a whole catalog of vehicles that regularly cross 300,000 miles on original internals. This is arguably the most reliable 6-cylinder engine Toyota has ever produced. It is chain-driven, so there is no timing belt to replace. It is naturally aspirated, so there are no turbos to fail. It is port injected in this generation, so you never have to worry about carbon buildup on the intake valves. The transmission is a 5-speed automatic from 2007 to 2009 and a 6-speed automatic from 2010 onward. Both are rock solid. I have seen maybe 3 transmission failures on RX 350s in 15 years, and every one of them traced back to a customer who never changed the fluid. Do a drain and fill every 60,000 miles. That is $180. That is it. That is the whole maintenance secret. Let's talk numbers, because this is where it hurts. A 2012 Lexus RX 350 with 90,000 miles is currently selling for $12,000 to $14,500. Same year, Mercedes-Benz GLK 350 with the same miles is $11,000 to $13,000, and I promise you, the Mercedes will cost you 3 times more to maintain. Brake pads on the RX, all 4 corners, $290 at an independent shop. Brake pads on the GLK, $620 because of electronic wear sensors and proprietary pad compounds. If the water pump ever fails on the RX, it is $540. The water pump on the GLK is $1,400 because it is electric and buried behind a timing assembly. Over a 10-year ownership period, the RX 350 will cost you roughly $8,000 less in maintenance and repairs than comparable German luxury SUVs. That is not my opinion. Those are invoices from my shop pulled across a decade. When you are shopping for one of these, pay attention to 4 things. First, check the dashboard for melting or stickiness. Some RX 350 models from 2010 to 2013 had dashboards that got soft in hot climates. Toyota extended the warranty on that, but make sure it was addressed. Second, test every button on the center console. The infotainment in this generation is dated, but functional. If buttons are unresponsive, the unit is fading, and a replacement runs $600 to $800. Third, pop the hood and look for oil residue around the valve covers. Small seepage is normal at high mileage. Active dripping requires a $400 gasket job. Fourth, look at the rear hatch struts. They sag on almost every high-mileage RX. $20 on Amazon and 10 minutes to install. Not a deal breaker, just a bargaining chip. Who should buy this SUV? Anyone who wants a quiet, comfortable, reliable, daily driver that treats you like an adult. Commuters, parents, students, retirees. Who should skip it? If you want to tow a boat, look elsewhere. The RX 350 is rated for 3,500 pounds, and it does not love doing it. If you want genuine off-road ability, this is a pavement queen, and that is fine. She does not apologize for it. The RX 350 is the luxury SUV equivalent of a rice cooker. It is boring, it is predictable, it does its job for 20 years, and it asks almost nothing in return. Which brings us to number 1. The SUV I personally would buy tomorrow if I had to pick just one vehicle to own, drive, abuse, and eventually hand to my son on his 16th birthday. If any of this straight talk is saving you money, hit subscribe before we get to the top pick. I am dropping more videos on luxury vehicles worth owning and the ones that will bankrupt you silently. Now, let us talk about the king. Number 1, Lexus GX 470 from 2003 to 2009. Number 1 is not just an SUV. It is a 4,700-pound piece of evidence that Toyota used to over-engineer luxury vehicles for the sheer love of over-engineering. It is built on the same chassis as the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, which, if you do not know, is the globally beloved truck that Middle Eastern oil surveyors and African safari operators use specifically because it refuses to die in conditions that kill lesser vehicles. Let me tell you why I love this SUV more than any other. 3 years ago, a man came into my shop towing a 2004 GX 470 behind a U-Haul. He had bought it sight unseen from an estate sale in Arizona for $6,800. It had 212,000 miles. The previous owner had driven it to Alaska twice. He asked me to do a full inspection and give him a list of everything wrong with it. I spent 4 hours going over that SUV. Compression test on every cylinder, transmission fluid analysis, undercarriage inspection, driveline play, ball joints, everything. You know what I told him? Change the oil and drive it for another 100,000 miles. The engine had better compression than some 80,000-mile vehicles I had seen that month. He is still driving it now at 267,000 miles. Here is what makes the GX 470 the single greatest generational handoff luxury SUV ever built. Under the hood is the 4.7-liter 2UZ FE V8. This engine was designed for the Land Cruiser to survive in places where a breakdown means walking. Cast iron block, forged internals. A timing belt, yes, not a chain, but one that has been engineered so durably that the engine is non-interference. That means if the belt does break, which is extraordinarily rare, the valves and pistons do not collide. The engine does not self-destruct. You just put a new belt on and drive away. Try that with a European V8. The transmission is a 5-speed automatic from Kaizen that Toyota has used across multiple truck platforms for decades. It is the same family of gearbox you will find in Tundras and 4Runners that have crossed 400,000 miles. The construction is body-on-frame, meaning there is an actual steel frame under the body, the way pickups and serious off-road vehicles are built, not a unibody crossover. You can bolt new body panels to a good frame and make this thing last essentially forever. It has full-time 4-wheel drive with a locking center differential. On the up-level models, Toyota included KDSS, Kinetic Dynamic Suspension System, which uses hydraulic sway bar linkages to give you sports car handling on pavement and genuine off-road articulation off it. In 2003, most automakers still had not caught up to what Lexus did with this SUV over 20 years ago. Let's talk real-world prices. A 2006 to 2008 Lexus GX 470 with 150,000 to 180,000 miles is selling for $11,000 to $14,500 right now. I know that sounds like a lot of miles. On this platform, that's half time. These SUVs routinely cross 300,000 miles with nothing more than timing belts, brake jobs, and occasional suspension work. Compare that to a same-year Range Rover, which requires a cosigner for the repair bills, or a BMW X5 with a 4.8-liter engine, which I've personally seen need an $8,000 engine replacement at 90,000 miles. Here is the maintenance math. Timing belt and water pump together, do both at once, $1,100 to $1,400 at an independent shop. Interval is every 90,000 miles. So over the life of the vehicle, you'll do that 2 or 3 times. Brake jobs are around $400 per axle. Differential fluid service, $120. Transfer case fluid, $90. These are truck-grade components, which means they are simple, accessible, and cheap. I have worked on GX 470 vehicles where the entire annual maintenance bill was under $500. If you are going to inspect one of these, here is the checklist. First, jack up one rear wheel and check for play in the air suspension if it is equipped. Some models came with rear air suspension that fails around 150,000 miles. If it is sagging, budget $1,500 for a coil spring conversion kit or $2,400 for OEM replacement. Many buyers prefer the coil conversion. It is more reliable long-term. Second, check the timing belt service history. If it has never been done and the vehicle is past 90,000 miles, negotiate $1,200 off the price. Third, crawl underneath and inspect the frame for rust, especially around the rear shackle mounts. This is the one area where these SUVs are vulnerable in the rust belt. A clean Southern or Western GX 470 is worth paying extra for. Fourth, test the rear hatch. It is a side-opening barn door, which is unusual, and the power struts can fail. It is a cheap fix, but it is a bargaining point. Who should buy this SUV? Parents who want to teach their kids to drive something safe, substantial, and forgiving. Weekend adventurers who want to pull a camper, tow a boat, or actually go down a forest road. Anyone who wants a luxury vehicle that does not humiliate you with repair bills the week after the warranty expires. Who should skip it? If fuel economy is your priority, this thing drinks. Expect 15 to 17 miles per gallon combined. If you want sporty handling, this is a body-on-frame truck. It handles like one. It is composed and confident, but it is not a sports sedan. And if you need something compact for city parking, this is a full-size luxury SUV, 188 inches long, and it feels every inch of that in tight garages. Here is my final take on the GX 470. If you buy a clean one for $13,000, put $3,000 into preventative maintenance over the next year, and drive it for a decade, your total cost of ownership will be lower than a lease payment on anything new from a German brand. And at the end of that decade, it will still be worth close to what you paid for it, because these are appreciating assets now. Clean examples are getting rarer every year, and the market has finally started to notice. So there they are, 3 luxury SUVs hiding on used lots right now, each one built with the kind of engineering overkill that modern manufacturers simply do not do anymore. The Acura MDX with its Honda DNA and super handling all-wheel drive. The Lexus RX 350 with what many consider the most reliable V6 Toyota ever built. And the Lexus GX 470, the Land Cruiser in a tuxedo, still the gold standard for SUVs that outlive their owners. Any one of these, bought carefully, maintained with basic attention, and driven with a little respect, will still be on the road when your kids are taking them to college. That's not a sales pitch. That's what I've watched happen in my own shop for the last 2 decades. Next time a salesman tries to steer you toward a 3-year-old German lease return with a scary warranty expiration, remember this video. Remember that somewhere nearby is a GX 470 with 180,000 miles sitting on a used lot for $12,000, quietly waiting for somebody smart enough to notice. If you want to know which luxury sedans are built to the same generational standard, I did a whole video on that. It's right up here, and it will save you even more money than this one did. Hit subscribe for more honest advice dealerships will never give you. Drive safe, take care of your car, and it will take care of your kids. I will see you in the next one.